cares if it's round? Doesn't matter. We just gonna live and die. Anyway, we all gonna die. Don't none of this shit matter anyway. I tell you why it matters. Everything that you've been programmed to about reality and the way this universe is purposely designed to hide who you are. It's purposely designed to hide the children of Israel. It's designed to hide you from the true divine. It's purposely designed to hide you from your roots. It's meant to hide the tree of life and the true nature of the universe, how everything is created, and the true power that we have. It's designed to keep you out of balance with the yin and the yang, even down to the sexual nature and the sexual energy that everybody carries, which is the most powerful energy in creation. It's so powerful, in fact, it can bring a whole body and a whole soul into this world. All we know how to do is bust a nut. We don't even know the real power of what we're playing with. So that doesn't matter. We didn't just happen by accident.
I would be a millionaire.
Who cares if the earth is flat? Who cares if it's round? Doesn't matter. We just gonna live and die. Anyway, we all gonna die. Don't matter anyway. I tell you why it matters. To believe about reality, the way this universe works. It's purposely designed to hide you from who you really are. It's purposely designed to hide the true children of Israel. It's purposely designed to hide you from the true divine Father of creation. It's purposely designed to hide you from your roots. It's meant to hide the tree of life and the true nature of the universe, how everything is created, and the true power that we have. It's designed to keep you out of balance with the yin and the yang, even down to sexual nature and the sexual energy everybody carries, which is the most powerful energy in creation. So powerful, in fact, it can bring a whole body and a whole soul into this world. All we know how to do is bust a nut. We don't even know the real power of what we're playing with. So that's why it matters. It does matter. We didn't just happen by accident. Who cares if the earth is flat? Who cares if it's round? Doesn't matter. We just gonna live and die. Anyway, we all gonna die. Don't none of this shit matter anyway. I tell you why it matters. Everything that you've been programmed to believe about reality and the way this universe works is purposely designed to hide you from who you really are. It's purposely designed to hide the true children of Israel. It's purposely designed to hide you from the true divine Father of creation. It's purposely designed to hide you from your roots. It's meant to hide the tree of life and the true nature of the universe created, and the true power that we have. It's designed to keep you out of balance with the yin, even down to the sexual nature and the sexual energy that everybody carries, which is powerful energy in creation. It's so powerful, in fact, it can bring a whole body and a whole soul into this world. All we know how to do is bust a nut. We don't even know the real power of what we're playing with. So that's why it matters. It does matter. We didn't just happen by accident.
I would be a millionaire.
Who cares if the earth is flat? Who cares? All right, I think you heard that many, many times. Hi, and welcome to Truth Matters Broadcasting, where we discern the truth for ourselves about religion, the kingdom of the Most High God, and the church. I started this one out with this brother talking about, does it really matter? The truth about this world. Does it matter anyway? And one of the things that I want to bring attention, ladies and gentlemen, is this. The truth does matter. This broadcast is very, very important. This very important. Maker Albania Oshara. And welcome to Truth Broadcasting. We discern the truth about religion, the kingdom of Yahweh, and the church. Truth Matters Broadcasting is an online ministry that is centered around giving you the opportunity to decide for oneself what one will think and believe. Here, ladies and gentlemen, is where we are. We are truly a heretic. A heretic is one who decides for oneself and think for oneself. And today I'm hoping that you believe for yourself and think for yourself. I titled this one Pitch Black because I don't think we got the full understanding of what it truly means when we look at our reality.
I'm trying so much to not be a preacher. I'm trying so much to not be a preacher in the stem of how the world look at preachers, but to be a minister. The very word minister means one that serves, man. My goal is to serve humanity. My goal is to serve one another. My goal is to serve because I was commanded to. I was commanded to serve by the one who created me. And through religion, powers and principalities and spiritual wickedness in high places, ladies and gentlemen, we have lost our identity. We have lost our ways. And someone has kept us in the dark and reboot us. Wipe us clean. Wipe us clean. Wipe our memory clean. Hard drive and program us to think in such a way that is so antiseptic, so deceptive, so far beyond our true reality. Even the algorithms on Facebook and YouTube and TikTok and all these socials are not geared around truth. They're geared around stupidity, idiocy. They are geared around foolishness. If you look at the movies, if you look at the commercials, if you look at the talk shows and the morning shows, you will see they gear around foolishness. Because foolishness is very entertaining. It calls for no true reaction other than to make you feel entertained and happy. It sheds no light on the history of who you are. We look at the Warrior King or the Woman King. Powerful movie. I went to watch it. Powerful. Love it. Love the fact that our women could fight for us and and to liberate and all of that good stuff. It feels good, but the history of the truth about that nation is most people don't know the true history that has been hidden from us through the entity of those who are telling us the stories. And I think that's one of the problems that we're having today, ladies and gentlemen. We have gotten such bits and pieces of truth that we don't understand the truth of where we are. If you look at the true history of the warrior, of the woman king, that the embellishment of the woman becoming king, all of these things, man, it's crazy. But listen, I don't have time to get into all of that stuff because I'm just a babbler anyway. I'm just one who is babbling. How is it possible that I could know truth? How is it possible that I could even speak truth to anyone? Who am I? What is my higher learning? What is my credentials? Here's my credential. Here's my higher learning. I'm a man who have seek, knock, and ask. And I've seek, knock, and ask the Creator God Himself. Now, this is not a privy that is only a privy to me. Anyone can do this. Anyone who thinks for oneself and decide for oneself can ask for oneself, seek for oneself, and knock for oneself. And if you ask, seek, and knock, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, the answers will come. And that someone is preventing you from understanding. Someone is preventing you from knowing who you truly are. Someone is keeping you in the dark. The question is, do you want to come out in the light? That is the question. The problem is the light exposes things. Exposes you, first and foremost. But the light also exposes that around you, that which is hidden, and that which is looking, that which is out in the open. Light exposes everything. And when you see light, ladies and gentlemen, and when light comes into your mind, then you have a choice to make. And the choice that you have to make, you or not, you have made a decision. Your indecision has become a decision. Let me say that one more time just in case you missed it. Your indecision has become a decision. So when you make a decision to not make a decision, you've just made a decision. There's one thing I've learned over the years, my 51st year on this planet, is this: that truth challenges the very core of your existence. It challenges the very core of your being. And you have to decide whether or not you're going to walk on the road of truth, the very narrow, rocky road, uphill climb of truth, or are you going to take the very big, wide, straight road of destruction? And no one look at a narrow, rocky, uphill climb and want to go up that mountain. Who wants to do that when it's easy to just coast down the hill to destruction? It's easy to take that road. Why? Because it takes no effort. All you got to do is be blessed. Just be blessed. Running through your life being blessed. Going after the things everyone go after. Seek after the things everyone seek after, and find all the things everyone find. Because after all, it's not what everybody's running after. Everyone is running after what? The pie. The piece of the pie. Because that's where people find fulfillment. Having a great husband or wife, children, maybe business or job, good career, sent off to college and pay the bills and live comfortably. Everybody seeks that. Having a nice house, cars, money in the bank, assets, and live a great, peaceful life. Everybody wants world peace. And why wouldn't you not want to live in a world where it's peaceful, where you can get along with your neighbor? Everybody wants a world without racism, discrimination, and greed. Why would you not want to live in a world like that? And so we strive every day and seek every day to be the best version of ourselves so we can make an impact to the people around us and be an example to our. That's what we seek. But what if all of that is given to distract you? Pitch Black, ladies and gentlemen, will be a series. I'm going to stay on this for about a month or two. Because the thing, ladies and gentlemen, is this: we must understand our history. We must understand that everything started pitch black. The creator Yahweh himself, calls light out of darkness. The conclusion of that matter is that darkness was first. Darkness was here first. Everything started, for us at least, pitch black. And I think we must understand the correlation, who we are, understand where we are in the dispensation of time. If you're joining me today, my name is Meka Albanya Oshoral. My name is very significant. It has a meaning. I was named Michael Lawrence Sewell by my father. He chose the name Michael for me. And Lawrence. And of course, Sewell, my slave name. That name was inherited through by his father and all the way to our slave masters. So whether you like it or not, whether you know it or not, whether you believe it or not, black man, you carry the name of your slave masters. It's amazing when you even look at the word masters. It's so incorporated in our life that we go to school and we try to get our masters. And there's so much to be said about that. The English language and the word play of the English language, man. The very word like hello, greetings. We greet someone by saying hello. Where does that come from? What is the meaning of that? You spell it backwards. Spelling. What are you saying when you say it backwards? Oh, hell. And I'm telling you, the dispensation of the word and how the word is configured have a meaning, have a spell. When we even say good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and we use it all the time. We use it in greetings. Good morning. What are we actually saying? If you look up the word and see the connotation of the word, it means that you're mourning. You're in mourning. A lot of words have significant effect on our life. Why we say the scripture tells us, Yahweh a man think it, so is the man. The words that come out of your mouth is that which makes a person clean or unclean. What makes a man clean? That which comes out of his heart. His heart is his mouth, is his brain. And the brain spills it out through the mouth, is what comes out of your mouth. So what are you saying to yourself daily? All of these things is a configuration of the demise and by which we live, because we surround ourselves with people and we surround ourselves with words and images that keep us suppressed. One of the things that I've learned, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why people like to buy the Imani suits and the Mercedes, all these nice clothes and look sharp, you know why? These are the symbols of our so-called freedom. What are the symbols of our freedom? You see, when a slave is a slave, his freedom, ladies and gentlemen, her freedom is to be like their masters. Come on now. It's not for the faint in heart. And that's why we want to live in the master's house. And we want to emulate and imitate and make ourselves like our masters. We want to have the houses they have and the cars they drive, they slept with. We want all of these things because these things is a symbol for us as freedom. Come on now, I'm getting deep, man. I'm done with the foul play, man. I'm done with the goody two shoe message. I have to preach the truth. If I'm not going to preach the truth, I don't want to preach it at all. And to preach the truth is going to make you uncomfortable. Let me tell you something. Preaching the truth makes it comes at a price. It comes at a price. To preach the truth comes at a price. And the question is, are you willing to pay that price? Because what I understand, ladies and gentlemen, is that salvation of that price. A lot of you think you're saved now when you accept Jesus, but you're not reading your Bibles. Accepting Jesus doesn't save you. And the reason why is because you've been lied to for centuries. If you notice anything about the sanctuary message, Exodus 25, the Most High God said to his children, build me a sanctuary that I may dwell among you. He wanted a sanctuary that he, Most High God, may dwell among us. But what is the consequence of the Most High God living amongst men? There's an issue, ladies and gentlemen. And the sanctuary is the way the Most High deal with the one thing on earth that can separate us from him, which is sin. And according to the scriptures, sin is a transgression of the laws of God. So when we transgress the laws of God, Yahweh, when we his law, it caused a separation between him. So when he says, I want to live among you, the first thing he has to do, he have to deal with the sin issue. A man was to kill a lamb, and he was to look in the lamb's eyes and cut the lamb's throat, and the priest was to catch the blood and bring it on the horns of the altar, and the body of the lamb was to prepare a certain way, and certain fats and certain things were to be burned, and then that blood would be taken into the holy place. You see, it will be sprinkled on that separates the holy from the most holy. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, what you do not understand is that your sins was recorded. I think people don't understand this. It was one time a year. It was one time a year that the children of Yahusharel, aka Israel, was free from their sins once a year. And that's when the high priest enters the most holy place, which he could only do once a year. And that year is called the year of Jubilee. This is crazy. That means within the time of the children of Yahusharel, at any time they could go back and sin again. And they would have to kill another lamb again. And they'd have to do the whole ritual over and over and over until the year's end, when the sins of Yahusharel would be expounded. That's why the scripture tells us that he that endureth till what? The end shall be saved. You know why? Because at any time, ladies and gentlemen, you can turn back. You can turn back. If you're joining today, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mick. This broadcast truth for ourselves about religion, the kingdom of the Most High God, and the church. Today, my message is called Pitch Black. I'm doing a series on this message. And why? Because I want you to a true understanding of where we are. I started out the message with a quote from this man here. I should have taken his name. But I did a duet in his message, so I can't see all his information. But I'm going to play it one more time so you can actually hear it for those who are joining me just now. Check this.
Who cares if the earth is flat? Who cares if we're gonna live and die? Anyway, we all gonna die. Don't none of this shit matter anyway. I tell you why it matters. Everything that you've been programmed to believe about reality and the way this universe works is purposely designed to hide you from who you really are. It's purposely designed to hide the true children of Israel. It's purposely designed to hide you from the true divine father of creation. It's purposely designed to hide you from the roots. It's how everything is created and the true power that we have. It's designed to keep you down, even down to the body carries, which is the most powerful energy in creation. We can bring a whole body and a whole soul into this world. All we know how to do is bust a nut. We don't even real power what we're playing with. So that's why it matters. It does matter. We didn't just happen by accident.
If a fetus.
Who cares if the earth is
All
round?
right,
Who cares
so
if it's round? Doesn't matter.
you heard it. It start with a question. Who cares? Who cares if the earth is round? It doesn't matter. It matters. Truth matters. I think you have to understand truth. What is truth? You have to understand truth. What is it? Because if you don't understand truth, and if you don't understand the history of truth, how are you going to know where you are? How are you ever going to be set free from your own mind? You got to understand your beginning. You have to understand your origin. Let me just say, this. As the question was asked, what does it matter anyway? You can continue your life doing what you want. That is the power of choice, ladies and gentlemen. That is the power of choice. Do whatever you want. Do as thou wilt. It's a famous quote from, and if you notice, Jay-Z and them and all these entertainers and them, they are what? They're spreading their messages. Do what you want. That's the new law. Do as thou will. You don't have to answer to no one. Just do what you want. But there's a God in heaven. I mean, you have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, when we were brought up in a family. Whether you were adopted and you don't know your parents, you were brought up somewhere, and wherever you were brought up, it has rules. You could do, there's some things you couldn't do. And there were some consequences to some things you've done, and there's some reward to some things you've done. We live by law. We were designed that way. And when you were slaves, your slave masters ruled over you by laws. You became a slave, ladies and gentlemen, by law. It was the law of the land. Slave. It was the law that you could they treat a slave anyhow, because a slave was not considered a human being. They were considered property. So you have to understand how this racism and racism play an intricate role in your delusion and your misunderstanding of who you are and the truth you are. And so, children of Yahushua, it is time for you not only to be awakened, it is time for you to get up out of the bed and leave the house. You see, most of you are awakened, but you can't find the courage to get up out the bed. Most of you are awakened. Find the car to get up out the bed. That's the you're awake, still in the bed. You're awakened, but you're still in the house, and you're operating under the house rules. The house slaves operate, and the rules for the house slaves were different from the slaves in the field. Now, when you're the house slaves and you look out in the field and see how the field, why on earth would you want to go out there? Why on earth would you want to go out there? That's why most house slaves become slave masters. Let me say that one more time. Most house slaves become slave masters. There's no way you can be out in the field and be mistreated and work and work to the bones, and it's impossible. Why? Because you undergo the treatment. It's usually those in the house because they want to be like their masters. The house slave love the master because they get to eat the scraps off the master's table. They will never leave the house because they understand. They understand what happened to them if they go out there. Not only that, they would be treated harshly, but the other slaves out there will treat them harsh. The field slaves will treat them harshly too. So they barricade themselves and said, how can we maintain our way of life? And the masters love the house slaves because now the masters can make slaves and the field slaves through the house slaves. And that is what's happening. That's what your religion is. That's what your government is. They're house slaves. And all of these people, powers and principalities and spiritual wickedness, all of these things that you see are happening are a bigger or a lesser under the true puppet masters who's holding all of us in slavery. But again, in the house makes us delusional, and it makes us close our eyes to the reality. Because after all, why would you want to go out in the field when you could stay in the house and wear the nice clothes? No dirt under your fingernails because you're so prissy and you're playing the. That's what the piece of the pie is all about. Keep you focusing on earning and keep you focusing on portfolio and keep you focused on passive income to the point where you waste away doing the very thing you want to do, not knowing that you're doing it. And so the Most High God sent his prophets, prophetess, judge, send his prophets ahead of us to restore us back to the truth and fact that we're living in the master's house and it's time to come home. And it's hard for you to come home. Why? Because you don't know your daddy. You don't know your true daddy. You don't know your true name. You don't know your true culture. So how can you go back to something you have no idea? After all, those are the 21st century. You know what? We were never slaves. We don't understand slavery. though it's written in our DNA, we don't truly understand it. Because let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, we're here. We never had to go through what our ancestors went through. And we're reaping the benefits of where we are today, but we don't understand what they went through. And we don't realize that we carry all that pain in our to teach it, to live it, and teach it to our generation and the generations to come. By the next 2-3 years, they're lost. They're already lost. They don't know the history. You know why they don't know the history? Because we don't know the history. We only know the history that was taught to us. By who? The slave masters. They taught you your own history. And they've changed the names to suit the
Shall be the supreme laws of the land.
I wanna
The judges in every state shall be bound thereby.
judges in
every state.
This is Brother Truth. Y'all need to check out this brother here, man. He'll teach you a thing or two about your true history, man. Right. Let's hear what he has to say on Black Lives Matters.
Your boy, Brother Truth. And today we're going to talk about Black Lives Matter. Or do they really? Let's get into it. The word black can be traced back to the Proto-Indo-European origins through the word black, which meant pale, wan, colorless, or albino. Clearly, as you've seen shown in this textbook definition here. So if black means pale and to bleach, when did they start applying to melanated people? Now, as far as the United States is concerned, this goes all the way back to the Peace and Friendship Treaty in the Rocky Empire, United States of America. Let me show you. Now, it's important to remember, in this peace and friendship, it was about keeping the peace and friendship while they were doing business in different scenarios with each other. As far as commerce goes, these two nations kept a friendship contract, and they said, hey, I'm going to look out for you if you look out for me. Now, remember that down the line, because I'm bringing that back. Now, as time goes on in American history, we eventually had the Civil War and the Emancipation Proclamation. And if you look here, it says the Emancipation issued an order that enslaved people living in rebellious territories. Keyword rebellious territories, as if living rebellious was a bad thing, right? It ordered enslaved people in rebellious territory to be free from ownership and made free from their own masters. And as you see here, it means emancipar, meaning to transfer ownership of, because the ownership of those so-called enslaved people were now given back to them. But there was a catch to that, which brings us to the Reconstruction era, which was right around the Naturalization Act of 1870, which actually converted and naturalized many tribal Americans from Choctaw Cherokee into so-called quote-unquote blacks. And how? Because we voted and chose to be a part of their federal to the definition of free white persons. As you see here, it says free white persons referred to in the Naturalization Act as amended Act July 14, 1870. There goes that act again, meaning all persons belonging to the European races then commonly counted as white and their descendants, including such descendants in other countries to which they immigrated. Let's see what other countries they're talking about, which also includes Moorish inhabitants of Spain and Portugal, which at that time was the Moorish Empire. Which goes back to that Peace and Friendship Treaty of 1787. Remember what I told you? You look out for me, I'm going to look out for you. And now that a new classification after the 1870 Naturalization Act, if you wanted to be on the right side of law, you needed to be classified as white. And after the Emancipation Proclamation, we would transfer ownership of our states. But now, since we were becoming blacks of their U.S. corporate system, we were now transferring our ownership right back to them. And once we became blacks, we became civil leader mortuus, which is civilly dead in the eyes of the law, which then fell right in alignment with a previous judgment of the Dred Scott case. For all of those claiming to be African descendants and blacks, they were not to be included in the United States Constitution and have protections or rights. So in conclusion, black lives don't matter. And today we're going to be talking about the Pope, why status correction is so important, and how this all ties back and testicuve trust again. They got some power moves that they're trying to make, and most people don't even know what's going on. Let's get into it. Now, before we even get deep into today's lesson, I first wanted to start with the United Nations and when it was started. So, the United Nations was started on October the 24th, 1945 by charter. But wait, that was just one part of the chess. And before the Holy became the permanent observer and controller of the United Nations. Now, a lot of this stems back to a very powerful man of King James, that King James version of the Bible that many of you all grew up on. Now, one thing that's important to remember is that this was a melanated man. He was a brother. And not only did he represent a nation of people, he also represented the. Now, he even became king. There have been all kind of religious wars, Reformation era between Protestants and the Catholics, different religious beliefs, but we're all Christians. Now, King James was born a Catholic, right? But he actually grew up in a Protestant household. So he was kind of best of both worlds. So his key role in all of this was to bring the churches together and unify under one. So, in 1604, England's King James I authorized a new translation of the Bible aimed at settling some of the religious differences between Protestants and Catholics and also solidifying his own power. Now, during these times, during the Reformation, many of the Protestants that were fighting ended up moving out the country and coming to places like America to discover the New World. But don't get it confused, because even though these people were Protestants, they were still subjects of the British Crown. And they were sent to America on business to set up the Virginia Company. Now, over time, many of the American Indians started breaking bread with these colonists and created alliances. So eventually, many of the colonists just said, you know what, we're never going back to Britain. We like it here in America. They treat us good. We can live in Protestant. Nah, we're not going back. So therefore, they just left their states abandoned. And this right here is exactly what led to the Cestui Act of 1666 later on down the line. So behind closed doors, Parliament was like, you know what? Forget it. If these people don't come back to claim their estates after 7 years, just declare them dead and lost at sea. And now every subject of the British Crown was now declared dead and lost at sea and converted to subject. Like Trump, now, after Trump's the Reformation era, the Catholic Church ended up coming back into power.
All right, so just in case you guys trying to figure out what went on
Peace
here,
and love, baby.
They just suspended my TikTok live account again. Wow. Now you on Facebook and YouTube have joined me. You've been with me all this time, and you've heard what went on. Is there anything I've said that violates TikTok guidelines? No. The very message, Brother True, I got it from TikTok, and it's playing on TikTok, and they said I'm in violation. Even after he showed those on Facebook, he was actually showing the Constitution writings and everything, the Google search, everything. He was showing it. So he wasn't saying that was not true. But you have to understand how the power principalities work. You see, ladies and gentlemen, the algorithm of TikTok has designed for all other countries outside of China that anything educational or learning would be like dismantled, or you don't get much views, or suspended. You know, in China, for TikTok in China, you can't show any of these crap like they're showing now, all these sex and foolishness that's going on. The algorithm in China has designed to wipe those things out. That only educational learning stuff that will process through the algorithm. But here, when I tell you we're not against flesh and blood, but powers and principalities and spiritual, believe me when I tell you, that's what we're up against. They control all of what you see and what you hear. So when a brother like me and Brother Truth spit truth about who you are as a people, why should I let that go? The slave masters can't tell you who you are. Because if he does, he's going to start a rebellion. He can't tell you who you are. Because if he gives you back your name, if he gives you back your culture, you're going to find out who you are. We're not Africans. They want you to think we came from Africa. No, we were sold into Africa. We're not Africans, ladies and gentlemen. But we're sold there. We're sold out of Africans. Africans doesn't sell themselves as slaves. You understand me? So you need to understand the history. In the 1800s, a group of all-female warriors protect the African king of Dahomey with skill and fearlessness unlike anything the world has ever seen. And all this garbage and yada 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 yada. What do you know about the Dahomey tribes? What do you know about them? The most of their wealth comes from slavery. And I know the show is geared like the woman king wanted to really stop the selling of slave and start importing oil instead. And well, I don't want to ruin the show for you. But if you really were to look at the history, of the true sons of so-called Jacob, if you really were to look at the true sons of Yahushua, aka Israel, and see the Atlantic slave trade, 7 toes of the kingdom of Rome, the empire of Rome, under its leadership, the papacy, that sold the children of Yahushua into slavery. And that's what Brother Truth was talking about here. When TikTok says, enough of that. You must understand history, true history. And they can't hold it anymore. I'm telling you why. Because knowledge has increased. The time of the vision of the end is here. And the Most High God has released the information. The prophecy was sealed up, but now it's released. The ravenous bird is here. And he's feeding the people of God to recognize who you are, to fulfill the word of the Most High God, that he will call all his children back. It's happening now. It's taking place right now. And it's so sent. This is the thief in the night mystery of Yahushua, aka Jesus. The thief in the night. Eagle's wings. You know, when you hear the term eagle's wings, you think it's a literal eagle and a literal. No. Time is doing something right now that a lot of people have no idea is happening. Because the truth of the mystery of the kingdom of God is not given to the world. Therefore, the world cannot teach it. Therefore, the world cannot accept it. Therefore, the world does not know it. They're in pitch blackness. But the mysteries of the kingdom is given to those whose eyes are open. See the truth, asking, seeking, and knocking. And who are making a decision to sell everything they have and buy that field. It's given to those who are seeking. It's given to those who does not love house or land or career or husband more than the word that was sent to us. Your history is being revealed. If you can chase your lineage through the Atlantic slave trade, you are the children of Yahushua, sons and daughters of the Most High God. It is you. And our job as disciples, as students of the word, is to call you back out and to bring to your memory the things that was lost, that our ancestors were not privy to receive because of their disobedience. Our ancestors were disobedient, and because they were disobedient, they were pushed through the Atlantic slave trade, lost their culture, lost their names, lost the name of the God we serve. But he has restored it to us. We know his name, and we know the name of the word sent, the Amashiach. Yahoshua the Amashiach, the anointed one, who was sent to the lost sheep of Yahoshua. He was not sent to the world, ladies and gentlemen. He was sent to us. And we had a 70-week prophecy that would have, if we had accepted the truth, then ever righteousness would have been brought in. End of sin. It would have been the end of sin for all of Yahushua. Go read the Gospels. But they rejected it, killed the Messiah, and they had another 3.5 years before the prophecy was end. Even after they rejected and killed the Mashiach, they still had 3.5 more years for the fulfillment of the 70-week prophecy. And they did not. When the door of Stephen, our house was left to us desolate. They don't want this kind of truth, ladies and gentlemen. I'm censored everywhere. I know, even on Facebook. My message doesn't go. If you're seeing my messages on Facebook and YouTube, it's because the Most High God has opened up a door for you to hear the nonsense I preach. Because that's what it is. It is nonsense to everyone, to the untrained ear. It is nonsense to the untrained faith. But if you're looking at this, and if you're seeing this, if you're hearing this, the Most High God wants you to hear something. If the question is that, will you be chosen? Because many are called. Many are called. And that's why he spoke of a remnant. Only a remnant will be saved. The rest will be lost forever because of their hearts. This is their heart. They're not thinking for themselves. They're not praying for themselves. They're not asking for themselves. They're not following his word for themselves. They're looking to someone else. And besides, when you're a slave in the master, it's hard going to feel. I want to be in the master's house. Nor do I want to be in the field. I want to be in the house of the Most High God. It is better to be a slave in the master, in the true master's house, the house of the Most High God, than to be a slave in this world. And here's the clincher and the truth as I end and close today. You're never a slave, because a slave does not know the master's business. Come on now, somebody. You are sons and daughters of the Most High God, you know who you are. And that's what makes you powerful. That's why you have to be kept in pitch black. So you have to want to come. And the way to come is to pray to the Father and ask him to give you insight, starting with his name. Ask him, what is your name? Because the power is in the name. When you learn and know the name of God, man, I'm telling you, if you look right down here, going across the screen right now, what it says here, put the test of, when you come to learn your Torah and know who you are, you've been called. The question is, will you be chosen? The message is always the same. Return to me and I will return to you, say the Most High God. Repent is return. That's what repent means. To return. Stop. Go back to God. Yah-oh. Blessed be his name. His name forever be praised. Choice is yours. Once again, TikTok has banned me for the maybe sixth time now. 6th or 7th time now. TikTok has banned me. And it's okay. I must still go back. TikTok is to me, TikTok is a colossal, humongous traffic for souls. And a lot of our brothers are trapped in there. And I'm going to go there one way or the other. I'm going to still go in there. I'm going to use tactfulness. I'm still going there and I'm still going to speak. And if I can get one brother to come out, one sister to come out, then guess what? I've done a good job. Because I know the masses not going to be saved. Is the remnant. And so I have to speak that the remnant can be revealed. And that's why I preach. So that the remnant can be revealed. However, I think I lost connection there.
Peace and love, baby. It's your boy, Brother Truth. And we're going to be talking about the post.
Thought I lost connection there for a minute. But if you're still with me, my peace I give to you. However, if you're not the recipient of that peace, then may my peace return to me. Peace.